Good evening, folks. Good evening, traders. It is just gone 6 p.m. in a very wet London. Quick sound check. Make sure we're coming through okay. There we go. Right. Looks as though everything's looking good. Certainly good my end. Can you hear me okay? Right, okay, just have a quick look at this is our, thanks Will. This is our 5th consecutive losing day now in the US dollar. And of course the market is especially concerned with what's going on in the Trump administration. And finally, it's good to see, well I say good to see, the stock market is also rolling over as well. Stock market is down a couple of hundred points. As I was saying this morning, I just couldn't work out why the stock market is up at these levels. If you look where the stock market was when we had Trump elected back in November, it's like 2,000 points lower. And now you're talking about the biggest word on Twitter this week, or today, has been impeachment and impeach and so forth. And this is the talk of the town. It's put the nervousness into the market. What we're seeing at the moment is a flight to risk off. So that basically means the yen's getting stronger, the bond markets are getting stronger, which means the yields are coming down, which means the dollar's coming down, gold's going up. It's all a big concern about what's going on there in the US, and that's basically given us some great opportunities today. So I know some of you have been joining me in our pipping today. We've made some good money, which is good stuff. Hi Tim, hi Jenny. Very sunny. I know where you are, Connecticut. Ah, lovely. 92 degrees. Wow. Well, it's quite mild here, but it's very wet here in London anyway. This is the dollar index. So this is now we've broken the level of the key Trump level, the 98.60 level, which we've been talking about for a few months. And as I said this morning on the stream, that it's likely that we'll be testing the 97.50 level either yesterday or today. And today we've tested it, and we're just hovering above. In fact, we're bang on it now as I've come online at 97.50, which is basically the mid-range. I think, as I was saying earlier this morning and throughout the day, the dollar has been in the range above the Trump candle, which is the Trump candle here, this big hammer candle, since the election. And I think you're going to find ourselves in an environment where we are in a new trading range, and the trading range is basically going to be 98.50 to the upside, and possibly 96 handle, 96.50 to the downside. This greyed out area is basically the Trump candle that we've been looking at. This is the move we had on the day of the election, and the dollar now is in this is sort of bang smack in the middle of it. Let's appreciate where the dollar was before, the day before, when the Clinton was 95% chance of winning the election. The dollar index was trading around the 95 level. Considerably lower than where it is at the moment. Trump got in, inflation trade took hold, stock markets bounced 2,000 points, or grinded 2,000 points up, and up to 21,000, and now we're heading back. Now we're seeing that the nervousness setting into the market. This market has every potential to move back and stay within this trading range. Certainly if you look at the numbers that are coming out of the US as well, reasonably soft numbers. Of course, you had reasonable non-farm payroll this time, but the previous non-farm payroll was a weak number. CPI recently, last week, this week, lose track of time. Soft numbers, pretty low on data this week as well, but the hikes in the US penciled in 3. June's definitely 90% chance of a June hike, but whether they'll do it in September, who knows? Last year they penciled in 4 hikes and only moved it once. So bond markets, look at bond markets as well. Let's just pull across here. This is the so bond market prices go up, yields go down. As you know, we've come back down now to 223 key level. To think we were up at 250 not so long ago, just a couple of last week we were back up at 250 and pushing that level. Now back down at 23. This is a move into safety. And the bond market's under pressure, which is exactly why the dollar is under pressure at the moment. And quite frankly, I don't see any fundamental reason, apart from the fact that Trump's going away for on a business trip, international trip, might take the pressure off him for a while. But at the moment, it's just been unprecedented time. We start off with the sacking of his FBI, and then we talk about the classified leaks. Now he's talking about possible conflict of standing in the way of justice by stopping the FBI investigating Flynn. It's not looking good for Trump at the moment, and that's why I think the word impeach is the Twitter trending word at the moment in the US anyway. So it's been good for us, as we say. A good play for us was the dollar yen. We talked this through down to 1300. I was long, for those of you that follow me today, got out at the I think it was where did we get out of that? Yeah, I think I was out of that. I was away. I actually had to go to hospital actually today with my daughter, A&E. But I got back in time for that. Took nice profits on that. As we were saying earlier in the chat, there's a very possible now that this has had a massive move in 2 days. Let's put this into perspective. This has had a 250 point move in 2 trading days. Sorry, this is the 15-minute chart. So take it back from here. We've had a 260 point move in the dollar yen. It's breaking all the levels of support that we've been penciling at 1300 level, the 1250 level, 1150 level, and now we're back down here at 1133. I was saying in the room that it's very likely, as far as I can see, that we might have a temporary correction. All markets tend to have a pullback before they continue on a trend, and I thought, I think that this is a reasonable level. It's a couple of ATRs away from the next psychological level, 1100. Bias definitely still continues to be the downside. I'm not going to dispute that at all. But any pullbacks into here, I'd be looking to get short again. So at the moment, I'm not going to be shorting at these levels into the figure. I'd like to see this pull back to 1150, possibly even pull back even more than that. So the level to the downside that sort of was a level that was holding it for a while was 1250. Okay, 1250. Excuse me. Basically around here, you can see this sort of like consolidation area. Pull back down. That was 120 points. So 60 pip pullback, which is like a 50% retracement of that level. It takes us back into 1175, 1180 area. I think that's quite a good safe level to to get back in on this trend. So I'm not saying you should be going long dollar yen. If you miss the bounce, you miss the bounce. But the trend for me is clearly to the downside. You want to play it to the downside, but you might see a temporary recovery. Just as markets do, they always like to pull back. It's just it's the healthy price action of trend continuation, and that's basically what I think we might see at the moment. So look to sell dollar yen if we get back into 1150 to the 1175 area. Any thinking in that area could be considered a reasonable sell. So the yen has been the main beneficiary, as we've said, as the flight to risk off, and that is signalled here by the strength meter chart. Look, here we are. This is the 1 hour, which is basically where we are at the moment. You can see it's just below. But if you look at the 4 hour, which is more of an indication of general strength, it's still the strongest currency, and the US dollar is back down here with the Aussie. Which brings me nicely onto I'll come to that in a moment. The other trade we've been taking advantage of is the Euro-Oz, which I know some of you have been following the trade ideas, and if you've been following that, then you've done well. But we've also put a trade idea out earlier, and I know some of you followed me on that one. That was the pound yen. Hopefully, you took some pips out of that. Pound is it's been. Despite the dollar weakness, you'd expect pound to be considerably higher against cable. You'd expect it to be touching the 130 level, and it's not. It just shows you that pound is under pressure at the moment. So this has been a good trade to take to the downside. Now, I put if you look at the trade idea, the take profit target was at 48, although I put it in here at 80, but the line in here was at 48. And as we talk, this is just continuing on down. Okay, so the pound is weakening at the moment, and the yen is strength. This is why, someone said in the chat room, I'd be lost without my strength meter. Well, it's something I've just traded with for the last 5 or 6 years. I've been trading that style. You've only known me for 6 months or so, but for me, it just makes total logical sense when you're trading the Forex market, to take advantage of what the Forex market is offering you, and that is, taking advantage of both legs of any particular trade, as opposed to just buying one entity when it's going up or down. Here at the moment, the yen is going up. There's a flight into to risk off, and the British pound is under pressure, which is why this pair is moving so nicely in our favour. So we took a short in here at 45.61. We took profits at 48, and obviously it's moved down another 50 pips from there. Okay, getting into the trend is different to the bend at the end. This to me is the bend at the end. I missed it. As I said, I've said all along, I always get caught at the end of a bend, and I got caught. Cost me, 0.25% of the trade size. Not a problem. That's always will happen. I'm not worried about that, because obviously once I get in onto the trend, then I start making that back. So I don't kick myself when I eventually get the trend wrong. I bought pound yen yesterday, and clearly it was the wrong trade, and we've reversed the trend. I'm now playing this one positively to the downside. So getting in short pound yen at good opportunities. I won't be necessarily taking anything now. 15-minute chart. 15-minute chart. Let's just look. I'm just putting on a fib tool here, just for the basis of the 50% retracement, which, as you know, is not technically, thanks Jenny, not technically a fib level, but it's a level significantly respected by the markets in terms of retracement. So the 50% retracement, as luck would have it, I mean, this is why 50% extension, 50% retracement takes you straight back into, takes you straight back into this congestion area. It's at 145.08. Okay, that's a 15-minute chart. It's a massive pullback on here. I don't think we're going to get there. I don't think I'm going to sit on my hands and watch this one run away from me, waiting for that pullback. It's just a long way away because of the movements we've had. But a pullback into 44.40 around here. If you look at my ebook, I pencil in a pullback of 1.5 ATR pullback. Pullback of 1.5 ATRs would be a 30 pip pullback. So 30 pip pullback would enter into the trade at 144.20 around here. So that's basically fits in line with this level of old support, possibly potential resistance. So pound yen, those of you looking to get in on that trade, look for pullbacks into that. If you're really conservative and you think this is grossly overdone, then a pullback into the 45 handle, which is 100 points away from here, is more conservative for the continuation of that. Unlikely that's going to happen, as I say, today. Right, the other trade I'm in, and I know if some of you are in as well, we've been following this together, so that's good, is the Euro Oz. Euro Oz, okay. We are, if you've been following, we're long Euro Oz from 149.09. This is from yesterday, actually. We're still in it, and we're going to stay in it. Okay, so we are currently 91 pips up. Just missed my take profit target by about 20 pips. So the logical thing to do for most of you would now be to move to break even on the stop. However, I'm not, because I'll be moving to break even where I think is still a good entry. So I'm not going to be moving to break even. I still like the momentum of this trade. I still like the euro in terms of its strength. I still like the fact that you've got positive numbers coming out of Europe. I'm still liking the fact that there's going to be some normalisation talk of rates tapering, rate hikes. This currency has got some strength behind it now. The uncertainty of French elections are out of the way. Good rally up before the elections. Weaker profit taking. Now continuation of that trend. Aussie's got its own concerns. It's a weak currency across the basket. It's got some fundamental issues as well. Of course, we've got some job numbers out in Aussie overnight, unemployment numbers. So do be mindful of that. I'm not going to be. I'm going to take this in over that. And we'll see how it pans out. But I mean, in terms of lower commodity prices, the RBA only last week were citing concerns about inflation in terms of the outlook for commodity prices, global outlook for commodity prices. People seem to forget these RBA announcements or these announcements, and they sort of just home in on the most recent number. As far as I'm concerned, this is a currency that's still under pressure. You've still got a big housing bubble there in Australia. You've got a big household debt there. The last thing they want to be doing is pushing up rates anytime soon to make that problems even worse. So the Aussie currency is under pressure. So I like this currency in terms of its play. I like the euro strength. I like the Aussie weakness. So I'm not going to move to break even. If you're not in this trade, I'm not saying you should necessarily get into it overnight because of the announcements, but it's entirely up to you of your risk appetite. But if you weren't in the trade, then I would advocate getting back into the trade at 49.50. Okay, 40 back, pull back. If you're not there, then getting into where I'm long at 49 even. I still like that trade. And my stops around 48.45. I'm quite happy to run this to profit target or get stopped out. So that's where I am in the Euro Oz. That's about it. I just wanted to summarise what we're seeing in the markets. It's not a full market analysis. It's just a wrap of what we're seeing in the markets. And basically, we're seeing yen strength, dollar weakness, Aussie weakness, pound weak. Pound is still no. Look at pound dollar where we are in the greenback. Really, I mean, this pound should be up at 30 handle. It's not, because pound is generally being sold off against other currencies. With Brexit concerns, of course, we've got the French election. What am I talking about? We've got the UK election now 3 weeks away, and I've actually been asked to do the count that night as well at the elections. I don't know if I'll be doing that this time. But you're sitting in the town hall counting all the votes as they come in. Sometimes interesting. It would be quite nice to have a feed to the Forex markets, but they take all your phones away when that happens, so we don't be doing that. And also, I live in quite a staunch conservative area, so it's not going to be much of an indication of the global picture. So pound should be a lot higher than here at the moment. It's not. I can't start looking to buy cable at the moment, although that is the bias of the trade, looking at dollar weakness. But pound is just, a currency under pressure. So for the moment, for me, I'll have to leave the pound alone. Now, that is basically what I'm looking at. Let's have a quick look at the stream. Can you review Euro Yen? I can review Euro Yen. I can tell you it's mostly not the pair that I'm looking to get involved in, just by looking at this little thing. And the reason why, this is why you bring me nicely to pitch my free indicator to you. Why am I not looking at the pound yen, the Euro Yen? Because at the moment they're both, they're both the strong currencies. There's got to be an advantage somewhere by buying what's up here and selling what's down here, on all time frames. The euro is strong. Look, blue across all time frames. Yen, blue across all time frames. So why would I want to be trading that pair? But you've asked, so let's pull this puppy up. So Euro Yen, let's have a look at the 4 hour for direction. Euro Yen is biased to the long side. If you are so inclined on the 4 hour, 45 pip ATR. If you're so inclined, this is a buy zone, if you like. If you're buying, if you're buying this, then obviously you're wanting the yen to turn back and be sold off. At the moment, that is not happening. At the moment, the yen is in vogue. But of course, I don't think I've blown any accounts, Tom. I had not blown any accounts actually, and that's not just me being pious, but no. Oh, so Euro Yen bias to the long side. This is this would be, if I was looking to trade this pair, which I'm not, would be a potential buy area. If you look down to the 1 hour, it's not a buy. It's not a buy on a 1 hour. And we've now moved. So it's a buy on the 4 hour. It's not a buy on the 1 hour. It's trading up on the 4 hour, down on the 1. We've moved. We've now. If you're trading continuation trading, you're trading off the 1 hour. It's a reversal of the trend now. So you're looking to sell euro yen because we're below these moving averages. These are my faithful 10, 20, 40 moving averages. Don't trade off moving averages, but I keep them on the screens for general trend direction. But that's my view on the euro yen, not something I want to be playing at the moment. It might all change, of course. Right, Tim, what's Tim saying? Okay, let's have a look at the chat. Yeah, I mean, the jury's out for talking about demo accounts. I mean, demo accounts, it's just much. You just have to. Demo accounts are fine for testing a strategy for a weekend and then get onto it, or for a week, and then get onto a live account. Even if you just play with a small amount of money, if you've got the ability to trade nano lots, which are so nano lot is a $1,000 leverage, $1,000 lot size, so it's like it's pennies. It makes much more sense because you value the profit and loss more, even if it's only peanuts, even if it's only pennies. So I encourage you to trade a real account if you can. You take it more seriously for one thing. No one likes to give away, even if it's a couple of dollars. No one likes to throw away a couple of dollars for the sake of it. Trade small on a smaller account, but just trade a real account as far as I'm concerned. It also makes you keep going. Blown up trading accounts. I've never blown up a trading account. The closest I've got to having a nightmare of a trade was years ago when I had failed to notice that we had some key numbers out in Asia and I had a trade in without a stop, and it cost me like a month's money on one trade, which I haven't done before. I haven't done since. Right, any ideas coming out of the chat room? Let's have a look. Just look at some trade ideas. We always end up the evening session on trade ideas. And here we go. So what we got here? We've got, excuse me, my right, Juan Pablo is euro yen long. Okay, well, we've just discussed the euro yen long. Not a bad bias to the upside in the 4 hour. And
it's worth noting, headline garnering some attention that you shared additional information about intelligence, of course.
I believe this risk-off market caused by Trump scandal affected by all champions. Once the dust clears, the strong euro could continue its way. There's also a couple of technical levels, fibs and so forth. Please comment. Okay, so you're into position in multiple entries. Long euro yen. Okay, well, I've covered the euro yen. Yeah, thanks for that trade idea. But you were talking about the risk going back into the market. I mean, look at the stock market. I mean, stock market should be 500 points lower, really. I mean, with all this Trump going on, I mean, how can he focus on any... I saw coming out earlier across the news why he started piping up against tax cuts again, getting back to business because of all the other things he's been affected by. But how can he get anything through, that he's supposed to be getting through and all these scandals are going on in front of him? I mean, it's just amazing. JSUSA, pound CAD short. Pound CAD short breakout. Yeah, see that pound CAD? Yep, CAD's got a bid. Had some oil numbers out earlier, which showed stockpiles had. Look at the oil numbers we had earlier, which basically put a bid under the Crude inventories came out at down 1.8 as a down to 2.5, and WTI put on $1, put on 2% move just on the back of those crude, and obviously we've got we've got Canadian dollar folded in that as well, so I'll see where you're coming from on that. Let's have a look. We've got your short pound Aussie as well. Okay, not sure about that one. 3 hours ago, MAC short Euro Oz. No, I'm not a buyer of Oz at the moment myself, and I'm short. This is a counter trend trade clearly. This your idea. Yeah, it's not the way I'd be trading this one myself, but yeah, it's a trade idea certainly. Coming into not quite sure you've entered. I haven't actually explained why you've entered, but thanks for the idea anyway, Mac. Keep them coming. Yeah. Okay. Good idea. I really appreciate the trade ideas anyway. But if you can just jot down, not you personally, but anyone can just jot down why they've entered, just so people can learn from them as well. Remember, there's no such thing as a wrong trade idea. It's a $5 trillion a day market made up of lots of different ideas. If people that didn't have ideas, so there's no such thing as a wrong idea. We just like to be able to see what you're thinking, what people are thinking, and we all learn from that as well, including myself. Tip top. Monthly support over. So here, this is good. Blind entry. Monthly support oversold. Major consolidation zone. And finally, 250 pip gain on the 204 no breather. Time to come up for air if you're planning to go lower. Okay. Yeah. Yes, indeed, got that. Bit of a breathing space. Yes, I am. I mean, I don't pick bottoms, or top. I don't try and pick tops or bottoms. But I mentioned a moment ago that I think you'll find the dollar yen possibly bounce back up a little bit. There's no reason why this one can't either. It's 3 hours ago now, so so it's a little bit out of date. But yeah, picking tops and bottoms sometimes can be costly business. The only reason why I don't like doing it is it affects my psychic. Okay, folks, appreciate that. Any trade ideas, most welcome. Drop them in the room. Just to end up by having a look at where we are. Drift just grinding lower on the index, and US dollar has had its pullback and now testing. Here we go down to 1100 for continuation. Pullbacks didn't trade here, so I'm looking to pull back into 1150. Looks as though the train has left the station on its way down to 1100, but there'll be plenty of other trains along the way, so wait for the pullback for me before I continue on that trend to the downside. Okay, folks, I will be back on in the morning at 8 AM London time for the London market review. London market review, so come and join for that. I think Jason's on later tonight, so he'll be on in about 8 hours, 7.5 hours time, and then of course we'll be in the chat interacting as well. So thanks for joining. I hope you've made some money today. It's been a good day as far as I'm concerned. So let's do it all again tomorrow. Good luck.